Um, no, I haven't rewatched it. I haven't had a whole lot of time.
I see everything.
I woke up roughly at noon. Yeah, I woke up at noon, got ready for work, went to work, struggled through work. Now both my wrists hurt. Uh, and then I got home. Basically
This
smothered my
scenery is
cat with
wonderful.
love so that she's
Surely enough to convince anyone to
now
become a
tired
wanderer.
behind me.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Strike a pose. Let the world come alive.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe I'll make another account. just to look at it, but that's why I make other accounts. And why they all are in like different spots. I think they do know about her. It's highly possible they know about her. I would be of mind to believe that they do know about the shades. Okay, that was it. Bye. Yep. Yeah, invisible tracking. Yeah, that's what was going on. Yeah, literally, their message to me earlier it was just, hey, can you help me? Sure, what with? It's a puzzle. And then I saw the puzzle and I was like, oh, this is easy. Anyways, off to the second account since I've already done the farming in this one. This account so that we can overanalyze the fourth act of Natlan. But first, because my resin's capped, obviously.
Fearless. Ad Astra. Thank you for completing. Ad Astra.
Yeah. You can show me about it. I'll do it later. just no, stop that. We don't need to do this again, please. Thank you. this event on this account? Yeah, I did it. I haven't done it on the EU because I haven't been on the EU in a hot minute. But I did this on this account, the third account in my main. It was a struggle when I was doing it on this account because no one was picking the right elements. The EU account, like, I occasionally visit, but it's because I've been focusing really hard on the second and third account. Because I feel like they should be further along than they are. Oh yeah, the EU is on. Yeah, it would be gone on EU, but I haven't logged into the EU in ages. And then there's also that AR-45 account that I've also abandoned for now.
Can we play Banker next time?
But anyways, off to wherever the start of this quest is. Yeah, I just don't go into the EU. I haven't been going into the EU lately because I'm trying to fix this account as well as the third account. I can only handle like 3 accounts at a time, with my main being the one I spend the least amount of time in, so really 2 accounts. But what am I doing? Yeah, there it is. Now to start Act 4. And overanalyze the shit out of this. All of the voices will be in this now.
Malika!
Yeah, all of the voices will be in the act now. Cause in Act 3, Kachina, Kanich, and Ion-san had their voices. And those were the ones that were and those were the ones that were missing during the release of that. So yeah, Kanich was gone too. Yeah, I did say Kanich. I said Kanich, Kachina. They sound very similar, I know. And Ion-san. They were the main ones that were gone? I don't know if anyone else was gone for voice. I don't remember. Yeah, and Traveler. Traveler is likely still not in here because Zach and Sarah haven't caught up with recording their voice lines because they couldn't get into the voice acting booth in time for like 5.7, so it'll likely be there for 5.8, but yes, it's the Traveler. The Traveler doesn't talk that much.
Traveler, Paimon Sitlali. Perfect timing. I've located the captain.
Oh, really? That's great! We also just took a peek at Auroran's memories and discovered something huge! Oh, all with his granny's permission, of course. Or no, actually it was...
Calm down, Paimon. I'll take it from here.
So the captain was searching for the source mechanism to reconstruct the ley lines.
Yeah, they do look like space. There's always been something odd with Paimon's design, because, like, it's very... And, like, the space in her eyes could, relate to the fact that she's a puppet made by the god of space. by the shade of space. That could be a part of it, or, you know, if it does lean into the fact that she is a part of, at least a part of Asmodee, maybe that could be an attributing factor, but I'm just reluctant to think she's a fragment of Asmodee. I don't know. Yeah, people speculated way back then. I just feel like it's too simple of an answer. It's too obvious. Paimon has been sus from the beginning, and so everyone clings onto that one theory that she is Asmodee. And I personally think it's a red herring. Personally, I think for everyone thinking that Paimon is Asmodee is a red herring. She might be linked to Asmodee in some way, like how I think she's just a puppet, essentially, created by Asmodee, but I think there's a link, but I don't think she actually is Asmodee, if that makes sense.
If his plan is already in motion, that means he knows exactly how to accomplish his goal. We have to stop him.
Is reconstructing the ley lines a bad thing?
Yes. It's not a simple fix. It would mean sacrificing nearly everything contained within the current ley lines. Very similar to the price of using a gnosis.
Yeah, there's that very price of using a gnosis line.
If he activates the mechanism, it's all over. We need to mobilize our forces as soon as possible.
But what forces do we have?
Kanich, Shilonen, you two, and myself. All other warriors are working to push back the Abyss on the front lines.
Yeah, it is possible that Paimon is linked to maybe being the thing that seals the Heavenly Principle's slumber. And so as long as she is basically ticking, the Heavenly Principles likely can't wake up. Or something along those kinds of lines. I wouldn't take that as a fact, because Nahida I feel like, was bluffing. And I don't think she knows enough about what's happened to the Heavenly Principles other than that they are sleeping. That Heavenly Principles is sleeping. It's the only thing I think she knows for sure. I wouldn't take it as a blatant fact, but if it were a normal kind of weakness slumber, I think it would. However, if the Heavenly Principles is asleep because of something that Asmodee did, and Paimon is somehow the thing that keeps the Heavenly Principles under sleep, even breaking a gnosis or destroying a throne won't wake up the Heavenly Principles. So long as Paimon is ticking, she could act as, if she's awake, then the seal that keeps the Heavenly Principles asleep is stable. As long as she lives. I just think Nahida was bluffing with that a little bit, but who knows? Who knows? I don't know.
But that's barely any people! Not to mention you lost your power, and they've got the captain on their side! Oh, maybe we really should get Lolly to break Ororon's legs.
Yeah, it's definitely shade level. It's not Archon level anything. It's definitely shade level power. Cuz we got to remember that line in the God's Limits teaser. God, what was the line? Hang on. We're going to find the line if I can get my mouse to work. Hello. There we go. Because there's a line that, I think it was Renova that said it. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it.
Renova, do you know that you're being watched?
Now that
By whom?
leads straight into...
Just
Better than being.
Finding her would do more harm than good.
Now there's an interesting idea. Better than being devoured.
just switched sides. You
Hang
make
on,
it
try to
sound like
find
such
it.
a trivial affair. We are shades, shadows of the heavenly principles. It's unthinkable, unless she loves her new master more than her own self.
Where is
Renova.
Cerita in this?
Do you know that you're being watched?
No, it's before this.
Think that we should find her.
Just trying to find it.
These meetings are just a formality. Does it really matter that only 3 of us are here?
I, for one, think that we should find her. One of us has ever missed a...
She just switched.
Now there's an interesting
Maybe it's...
heavenly prince.
gaze
Yeah.
on the heavenly principles. Her paltry...
Yeah, it was
Micaiah
Renova.
Archon. With her paltry powers, she...
They consider the Archons to have paltry powers. Thank you for the follow. So, yeah, the Shades definitely consider the Archons to have, such weaker powers. A lot weaker powers than what, obviously, the Shades have, because Renova's the Shade of Death, and then there's Time. Like, these are all-encompassing kinds of powers that power sets that they would have. Whereas an Archon basically has power over a specific element, which is very restrictive in and of itself. It's possible they don't know why the Heavenly Principles is asleep. So I don't know if it's a plot hole. There's also a huge chance that, like, Nibirius obviously can't do anything. She's lost control of her body because Rhindaughter devoured her heart. So she doesn't have an actual body, and she's only there in consciousness. So, and you think Rhindaughter's gonna do anything? No. Istaroth is also likely rebelling, so that leaves Renova. Istaroth probably doesn't really care too much to awaken the Heavenly Principles. But then that leaves Renova. And something I've always found a bit interesting, we're just gonna switch to this, is when she says just switch
You make it
sides.
sound
Like, this is something that she's probably thought of doing, but it's likely that she never saw a way to be able to just switch sides. Because that's well, Asmodee is switch sides, but Istroth mentioned maybe
Finding her would do more harm than good. She just switched sides.
yeah, Istroth puts in the thought of she just switched sides.
Finding her
Then
would do more harm than good.
Now there's an interesting idea. Better than being devoured.
just switched sides. You make it sound like such a trivial affair.
yeah, I do think Istroth has her own kind of like rebellion and stuff going on that she's doing behind the scenes that none of us really know about, even the shades. So her putting in this little bit is probably to make sure that things stay off of her. But it is likely that I think at one point in the past, Renova may have tried to rebel a little bit. Or she's just too focused on the rules that they have to abide by. Switching sides, it could mean switching sides to the Traveler, who is also a Descender, because yeah, we know we're the fourth Descender, so we know the third Descender is dead. The first Descender is likely the Heavenly Principles. The Heavenly Principles is either the first or the second Descender. Maybe the second. Actually. Trying to... the third Descender is made up of the Gnosis. So I'm thinking the Heavenly Principles is the second Descender to enter Tevat. But there is another one that... Hang on. Oh my god, this is not the greatest way to type with my hands in splints. Is this known in anything? So Descender. Nahida hypothesizes that they are the first Descender specifically. Which would also make sense. But then you gotta ask the question of what happened to the second Descender? The second is MIA. Yeah, let's go to the Descender one. Because we have known Descenders. The Heavenly Principles. And Nahida speculates the very first specifically. Before Sun and Moon mentions the second who came, who is the next entity. The eternal throne of the heavens. Blah blah blah. So yeah, this was part of Enkanemia's story. Yeah, they lost. The three Moon Sisters were there at that point as well. Yeah, we just don't know that much about Descenders, but yeah, I do think that the Heavenly Principles is the first. There was a second who tried to wage a war and lost. Then there's a third who likely also tried something and then their death ended up creating the Gnosis. And now we're the fourth. It's likely because the thing is, Nibelung returned to Tibet having brought with him abyssal power. I don't think that before Heavenly Principles came, that the abyss was into that. Nibelung brought that over from some other world as vengeance against the Heavenly Principles, because the Heavenly Principles had already basically won. And so then Nibelung basically brought in a new power that he thought would come. And it's entirely possible, because technically Nibelung left Teyvat and then came back, that Nibelung could be the third descender, and so Nibelung's body was used to make the Gnosis. Though that is, I feel like, very speculative as well. It could end up being the key to a lot of things, and the thing is, we've already had an example with Skirk, actually, where she says that, well, we view, this isn't a direct quote, but like she says something like, we view abyssal power as bad and just inherently evil, but it's not. Like, she uses abyssal power, but I wouldn't categorize her as someone who's evil and corrupt, personally. I think she's just got her own little end goals in life. Namely to not have her entire life ripped apart by Sertologi. And she wants to eventually defeat him in battle, but Yeah, I envision a, the abyssal power to not be neither good nor bad. It's kind of like a neutral thing. It's kind of like you can use the abyssal powers however you want. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a power. Yes. It's a threat because the Heavenly Principles has no control over it. It's probably also very similar to how like the twins have control over like this light element that no one else seems to have control over. I don't know if the Heavenly Principles would have control over that light element. It is theorized that the light element is essentially all of the elements in some form of combination, and when they're all present, that's when we see that light element, because we see we see our traveler be able to wield the light element twice in game. Once in Leeway, during when we were dropping the J chamber on Osaka, and we were surrounded by others of other elements, and another time in Inazuma when literally there were all of the visions around that were embedded in the statue. So there is that theory that goes around that the light element is like all of the elements combined. So theoretically, if Traveler gets all of the elements, if it's not all of the 7 elements, yeah, it's never seen again. In Sumeru, nope. Because in Sumeru we didn't have a huge amount of elements around us for any specific fight. Neither in Fontaine or really Natlan. Our original power has only appeared twice. Once in Liyue, once in Inazuma. And we were surrounded by other elements and people basically funneling us their will or their power. Yeah, because another thing about us is we're able to purify, which is unique, and I think it's some leftover bit of our original like light element. I do think it neutralizes abyssal energies, so the traveler could potentially, and considering our sibling already does wield abyssal energy as well, I think that the traveler and their twin are able to wield both, and they're able to also neutralize and control abyssal energy more than what some others might be able to do. And obviously Heavenly Principles can't control the abyssal element because it's such a huge threat to them. Anyways, let's get back into the quest.
That won't help us with the captain, I'm afraid. In any case, the Masters of the Nightwind are in urgent need of manpower. See, Lolly, I was hoping you could head back and help defend the tribe.
All right. I understand where I'm needed. I'll head out right away.
Don't worry about your grandson. We'll figure something out for sure.
I'll leave him to you all then.
All right, back to the matter at hand. I don't believe defeating the captain needs to be our ultimate goal. Let me grab Shilonen and Kanich, then I'll tell you my idea. As you all know, Auroron is working with the captain and we need to stop their plan.
Yeah, the light element was used offensively in Liyue. I think it can be used in both ways. I think the light element could be used as both healing and offensive. It's kind of hard to explain, but yes, abyssal energy, it is damaging, and we can see that a lot. But yeah, we do have evidence in game of the light element being used to inflict damage in ways. It's a little tacky, but also it does coincide with how I think things would turn out. Because it's entirely possible.
The captain is a formidable opponent, but that shouldn't deter us. In any case, a head-on confrontation isn't the best way to solve the issue. Their plan hinges entirely on a single element.
What? Why? Duff. Guess we're starting this over.
Traveler, Paimon, Lali. Perfect timing. I've located the captain.
Oh, really?
Let's continue.
Calm down, Paimon.
So the captain was searched. If his plan is already in motion, that means he knows exactly how—
Is reconstructing the ley lines a bad thing?
Yes. It's not a simple fix. It would mean sacrificing nearly everything contained within the current ley lines. Very similar to the price of using a Gnosis. If he activates the mechanism, it's all over. We need to mobilize our forces as soon as—
But what forces do we have?
Kanich, Shilonen, you—
But that's bare—
That won't help us with the captain, I'm afraid.
All right.
Don't worry
Come
about
on.
your grandson.
Let's get
We'll
back
figure
to
something
the
out.
I'll leave
others.
him to you all then.
All right, back to the matter at hand. Let me grab Shilonen and Kanich, then I'll tell you my idea.
There we go.
As you all know, Auroron is working with the captain and we need to stop their plan.
I just love how the game did that to me. Wow.
The captain is a formidable opponent, but that shouldn't deter us. In any case, a head-on confrontation isn't the best way to solve the issue. Their plan hinges entirely on a single element, the source mechanism. If we leverage our forces, we can destroy it, and then success is ours. We'll head out together. In the event that a confrontation becomes inevitable, I'll stall the captain while you advance.
I mean, it is curious. I think we'll have to wait till we get to Snezhnaya and we get Cryo to see if suddenly get our light element back, or if perchance there is something else that needs to happen in order for us to get our light element back. Trying to think of Sumeru. I know we didn't do it in Fontaine. And like we showed it off in at the start of Natland in Act 1 to Kachina. But in an actual battle, it hasn't happened. But in terms of Sumeru, it could have all been physical. I just don't remember. It's been a while since I did that quest. But also, like, we went through 168 samsaras. No. Yes. I think that's the number. We went through a lot of fights with Scar. We just went through a lot. And it's entirely possible. Some of them might have been using elements. Some of them might not have. Yeah, it is interesting that the Traveler didn't use any of their elements, which I would think that the Traveler would have. Because we used both Geo and Animo against Child. So why wouldn't we do that against a higher ranked Harbinger, unless, no, I'm just spitballing here, unless the Traveler wants to keep that ability somewhat hidden from the Harbingers in a way, and hopes that Child hasn't said anything. It's the only thing I can think of as to why they would stop using multiple elements against a Harbinger. I'm trying to think of any other reason why we would have stopped. I mean, it could be. There is a tactical advantage to not showing all your cards in a fight against someone who you don't fully trust. Like Arlecchino, I wouldn't fully trust her. I think in Fontaine we just had like similar goals. But if things came to it, and Arlecchino was ordered by the Tsaritsa to not be our ally, I think that would end up happening. And so that's why we shouldn't fully trust Arlecchino. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people think they phased out Dullblade. Well, the thing is, we were... Traveler had different swords for certain quests. Like, this isn't the first time that the Traveler hasn't had Dullblade. I noticed it also in... Was it Sino's first story quest? No, it was his second story quest. You know, when they're camping. It's, oh god, which sword was it? Let me see if I can find the sword. It was like a 2-star sword, so I think. I can you give me a list of the swords? Hello, thank you. It's gonna probably be at the very bottom. It was a 2-star or a 3-star sword, so yeah, it was silver sword that we had at that time. Because silver swords... It's gotta be... God. I'll look in the archive after this to look at silver sword a bit more.
No. You're our leader, and you've lost your power. You shouldn't be the one to face the captain.
I agree with Kanich. The two of us can handle it.
Listen to my plan first. Kanich, I want you and Ahau to launch an assault from the front and break through the Fatui defenses.
We could actually.
The captain won't be
Yeah,
on the front lines. As a seasoned
I'll
warrior,
read the
he'll be
lore in the
stationed
archive.
close proximity to the device to ensure its protection.
So, you want us to lure him to the front?
No. The purpose of the frontal assault is to gather the Fatui forces in one place. That way, it's easier for the rest of us to avoid them. Shilonen, I need you to do what your tribe does best, and dig a tunnel from the outskirts of the ruin. Once we get close to the device, we just need to destroy it.
So, Shilonen is launching the main assault.
Exactly. The Traveler and I will join her as well. No one can create a distraction better than you, Kanich. Not even myself. By combining our strengths, we just might manage to break through the captain's
just a
defenses.
distraction.
Leave it to me.
Understood. Then we should head out now. Just promise us you won't do anything reckless. You cannot face the captain straight on unless you have no other choice. You mean everything to us. Losing you would be the worst possible outcome.
I'll also try my best to not let things get to that point.
Thank you, everyone. You have my word. I'll proceed with caution.
There we go, and now it's started. So if we go into the archive and we look at Dullblade is just travelers are full of meetings and partings. Perhaps the only trusty and inseparable companions of a traveler are the sword in their hand and the dream in their heart. And then this is what Traveler had. Despite how the folk belief would have it, Silver does not actually have any special ability to exercise. It is the pure heart of the wandering exorcist that is the true bane of evil. So it's like, Traveler went from Dullblade to Silver Sword in, one of Sino's story quests. As for Prototype, hello. An ancient prototype sword from Leeway's arsenal. The batch number has faded, and no records exist to confirm the date of production. A swirling cloud motif is etched into the body of the blade, which gives it a faint golden glow in the sunlight as it swings through the air. It is said that the bladesmiths behind this weapon reached the extent of their abilities and were forced to innovate. Yun Hui, definitely saying that wrong, head of the House of Yun's family forge, approached renowned craftsman Han Wu with the combined expertise from both sides. Han Wu drew up designs for a new series of weapons simply named the Prototypes. The very first sword made following this design already had the feel of a formidable weapon. While trying out the sword at Mount Tiangheng, Han Wu accidentally dropped it on the ground. The sword responded by unleashing a swirling tornado of energy that cut a 12-inch deep hole into the solid mountain rock. Han Wu took it as a sign from the heavens. He declared, "This sword shall be named Rancor, Destroyer of Rocks." This sword shakes mountains at their foundations and possesses the power of 1,000 peaks in its tip. This sword that cuts through rocks like butter became the basis for all subsequent swords made in Liyue. Damn. Look at the lore inside these swords. It is... I mean, did we ever see Traveler use any of these 3-star swords? Don't think so. There's not much of a connection. I mean... Yeah, it's a Liyue lore with the sword. It's hard to say how we could connect it to Traveler. A lot of people speculate it was for design choices because of the final shot of Act 5. With Capitano's sword, Mawika's sword, and then the Travelers. People think it was more of a design choice. Hi! Oh my god. I am inclined to think it's more of a design choice, but I don't feel... I feel like Hoyo could also have a reason for doing that, because the lore behind Prototype... Oh, shit. Other low-level swords, so like... we've already looked at Silver Sword. Silver Sword was meant for exercising demons. It's made of a silver alloy, not pure silver. And then there's just Dull Blade, which is just, you know, your average sword. But Cool Steel, a sturdy steel sword forged by the method of folding. It has a dull shine with a cold glimmer. It belonged to a famous adventurer who witnessed the vastness of the earth. With it, he severed the iron bones of monsters and crossed blades with bandits, but in the end, he gave up the vast earth, the boundless sky, his friends in the guild, his trusty Cool Steel, and old pals to be with the girl he loved. I do. I think at some point we will get our original sword back. Our original weapon that we had at the start of the game. Because our twin still has their sword. Ours has to be somewhere. The sword has an extraordinary full name. The triumphant harbinger of dawn that points towards victory. Only one has ever fallen by this blade. On the battlefield, one night, the bearer drew the sword triumphantly. The night sky lit up as bright as day, pinpointing his precise location. Arrows rained down upon him. So this one got someone killed. That's the stupidest way to die. Honestly, you'd think. And yet, it's one of the best 3 stars. It's actually the best 3-star sword because of the crit damage. For, specifically DPS characters. Oh. The reliable and balanced sword made of fine steel. The one downside is that the partial tang design renders it less durable than its full tang counterparts. That said, the partial tang creates space in the hilt for hidden knives scissors, tinder, and other objects. Hence the name Traveler's Handy Sword. It contains all sorts of handy items for travelers. So I guess now we know what's in the hilt of this sword. It was said that the tickerfish was a favorite among the people of Liyue. As word caught on, somehow ticker became tiger. Now the real tickerfish is hard to come by, but tigerfish fillets have become synonymous with delicious fish for the people of Liyue. This is just a I feel like this is too long of a filleting knife, but you know, what do I know? And then we got Skyrider Sword. Leap, the Master Swordsman Skyrider did. From the heights of Jayunkars, he pierced the clouds as the wind hollered by his ears, but what followed was the sound of bones shattering. What he had hoped for was something swordsmanship could not bring him. He pawned the sword for medicine, but die it did not. His dream of flight. Yeah, because the guy that had Skyrider Sword, he tried to fly with this thing. Buddy has the wrong idea of what a sword is for. Alright. Yeah, those are all the, like, 3-star swords. What I find the most interesting is we went from Dull Blade to Silver Sword, skipped past any of these, and went straight to Prototype. Hey, girl, can I put you... Oh, no, you just... Okay. My cat has become very clingy, and I don't know why. Yeah, a sec. On the clay... clay. I apparently can't read. On the cliff facing the eastern sea, the ancestors worshipped the masters of time and Animo together. The two are intimately related as expressed in the saying, Animo brings stories while time nurtures them. This sword tells the story of protection to show the courage to protect. Originally just a prop, its blade was sharpened by the passage of time. The sword once belonged to the kindly Gunhildr clan. In the sacrificial ceremonies they would enact the defense of Mondstadt. There were 3 acts in the ceremony dedicated to the winds of time. The final act told a tale of the protection of Mondstadt, of life, and of freedom. The ceremony and its history have now been lost, but the Gunhildr clan continues to act as guardians of Mondstadt to this day. Which brings me to... perhaps... Yeah, there's a lot of Mondstadt lore in the sacrificial lineup. In the early days, the people of Mondstadt had a tradition of building theaters on top of windy cliffs to please the gods. Rituals took the form of performances, for they believed the gods enjoyed stories and ballads. The script is millennia old and is no longer legible. Long ago, a war raged between the Lord of Storm and the Great Wolf King of the North. Mondstadt was engulfed in blizzards and the snow stung like sand. A group who could bear the cold no longer built a shrine high on a clifftop in the east. There, they prayed for divine mercy and protection. The wind blows for a moment, but the ravages of time are constant, unrelenting, and irreversible. A god of the winds may move between the pages of a book, but in the end, the merciless god of time will eat away at them until not a single legible word remains. Yet time's assaults and that of the wind often take their toll the same upon the heart. Perhaps that is why later generations presumed the shrine to have always been to the wind and the wind alone. Interesting. On the cliff facing the eastern sea, the ancestors worship the masters of time and Animo together. The two are intimately related, as expressed in the saying. Oh, this bow tells the story of the pioneers and the hardships they went through. It used to be a drop with an immobile bowstring, but the string became both flexible and sturdier with the passage of time. This bow was once the property of the proud Lawrence clan. It's possible. Yeah, sacrificial fragments might. Yeah, I mean, you could see it as winds can travel between time, and Animo could travel between time. I do see how you can see that. This bow was once property of the proud Lawrence clan in the far-flung past. They used it to reenact their clan's brave victory over the frozen wilderness. The first act of the ceremony told the tale of their forebears conquering the land through their wisdom and strength. Over their long history, though the ceremony was lost, they continued to play the same role, but this role became corrupted. Gradually, their view of themselves shifted from conquerors to overlords to kings. Gradually, they strayed onto the path of depravity, and lost the affection of Mondstadt's winds. Yeah, as long as memory or record exist, it can travel. That's the lore in a lot of these is really interesting. See, this is why a lot of people don't know a lot of the little bits of lore, because a lot of it's hidden inside these weapons. Oh, I forgot to read this one. Yeah, that is interesting. On the cliff facing the eastern sea, the ancestors worshipped them. Yeah, that's just a repeat. For those first few lines. The sword tells a story of war and was used in the enactment of war tales. Originally just a prop, its blade has been hardened by the passage of time. Which isn't that in itself is an interesting line. Blade being hardened by the passage of time. Because as time goes on, typically, like as you grow older, you typically become hardened with time. Because you have because people usually face a lot of hardships as time goes on, as they grow older. This sword once belonged to the Imulnak clan. I can't say that. I don't know how to say that. A clan of brave and gifted warriors who fought hard and died young. In sacrificial ceremonies, they would enact duels between brave warriors stained black with blood. In the eyes of the Imulakar clan, combat existed not for the protection, for glory, or for gaining territory. Rather, it was for the amusement of the gods high up in the heavens, for whom little else could serve to entertain. Monsters and outlaws, they fought them all the same, with no regard for whether this time they would return to their beloveds afterwards, for none of that mattered. What mattered was to roar, loud and clear, in the heat of bloody battle. That was duty fulfilled. Such hot blood running through the veins should not have been conducive to a long history for the Ibn Lakhr clan. For their fight was one without end and without hope of victory, and yet, as the snow slowly melted and Mondstadt began to take shape, gradually they realized they had found something to fight for at last. Yep. There's so much lore in these swords. Too much Mondstadt lore. My favorite thing is we haven't heard of this clan yet in Mondstadt. Quests, specifically. Like, we know of the Lawrence clan because of Eula. We know of the Gunhilder clan because of Jean. Whatever this clan... This clan, I feel like, might come into play with Mondstadt's, expansion? Maybe? Possibly. Just a wild thought. Yeah, there's just a lot of lore in all of these weapons. Yeah, it's definitely before the Archons, so it is likely to please the gods is likely referring to the heavenly principles and the shades. Of which, from my memory of lore, almost never interacted with humans. Istaroth was the one that interacted with humans the most. But in all technicality, when the Archon War was going on, there were gods of many. There were many gods of different things, and so the Archon War was gods vying for these 7 seats. And 7 gods came out victorious, while the others fell. So it could have also been referring to, like, there was the god of storms, and whatever other ones. So, like, there were other gods around before, like, the Archons were instated. So it could have also not just been referring to the heavenly principles and the shades, could have also been referring to them as well, but it's likely also referring to all of the other gods that were around at the time. There is a significance, I feel like, because from what I know, because I think it was during one of the Dane quests that when Andreas was being basically chained down by one of the Abyss Heralds, he mentioned how Andreas had stepped aside for Venti to become Archon because it would have been offered to Andreas otherwise. And Andreas had said that I don't remember if he actually said this, but I think Andreas just never wanted the position. And I think a lot of for Mondstadt specifically, I think the gods realized that to become an Archon would also come at the cost of some form of a chain. Because the Archons are kind of chained by the heavenly principles in a way. And while Venti is technically the god of freedom, Mondstadt's the land of freedom, he still has to obey what the heavenly principles wants if at any point heavenly principles decides that he wants Venti somewhere, that they want Venti somewhere, Venti has to go. Like what happened for the Cataclysm. Like, there was a reason they were all there.
The abyss is like the world's shadow. It's always there, and it will never perish.
I do also think for like more abyssal lore, we might have to go into Skirk's voice lines at some point. Yeah, the only way to seek free is the destruction of the throne. Death is the only way to get out of it. Which is why it's so funny that Zhongli is like, I stepped down from being the Archon. Buddy, you're the Archon until you die. Because he can't just pass it on to someone else until he dies.
All right, this is the place. Their tunnel must be behind that gathering of Fatui guards.
Yeah, that was the Gnosis trade. If Liyue proved that they could handle a conflict, then he would hand it over, because that would prove that he would no longer need it to protect Liyue. But yeah, it's supposed to be like the contract that ends all contracts. But we'll have to wait and see if we find out. I really hope we do find out what that contract was, if the Tsaritsa will actually tell us, because that would be just like, after years of speculating. But yeah.
Any of the nearby mountains could be a good infiltration point, but if we want to stay under the radar, we should approach from the side.
As agreed. Ahau and I will handle things at the front.
There are only a few Fatui stationed around the perimeter. We should take care of them first so they can't alert anyone.
Kui that are over there. I mean, I guess I should use the Saurian. See, at least with Zhongli, his Gnosis trade was he actually didn't want to give up his Gnosis unless he would find that he had no use for it, and then Venti just like acts like an absolute pussy.
Into the void! Fulfill our pact! Now's our chance! Merciless! Paradigm shift! Eat Laline! Eat Papa! Get him! Get to work!
Alright, that's done. Let's head to the foot of the mountain.
What do you think, Shilonin? Is this a good spot?
It is possible, because also when you think about it, that, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow bounces between spots in time. But yeah, it is possible he knows with his connection to Isroth, or because I know only because I've heard about the voice line where Fenty talks about us meeting again or something like that. It's likely he's already lived through the timeline, because you got to think of the fact that there's a piece of lore in Fontaine where in literally just a piece of paper where Teyvat is basically a huge samsara, and we're currently in the 4th samsara, so it seems like things kind of repeat. Yeah, he does tell us to cherish the journey. The journey is more important than the ending. It is likely that he's already seen where things go, or he knows where things can go. But also, with us being a descender, we could always also end up changing that original end. And maybe that's a part of why Venti is so secretive and not willing to tell us anything, because maybe at one point in the timeline he tells us before we're ready, and then that ends up leading to the quote-unquote bad ending. Oh, it's entirely plausible. There is it because each samsara has ended with the end of a civilization. For the last one, it was Conria, I think. I'll go find the piece of paper because I know where it is. I found it again. So it doesn't disappear with the sinking of the tower in Fontaine. So
Yeah,
after
good.
this I'll go
We'll
look
take
at
it from here.
I can see the inside.
Perfect. We'll keep going. The rest of you should head back. Things are about to get dangerous.
All right. Please, take care.
Okay, I will go do that in a moment. It is possible. I actually do think that is what has been happening, because I think Istroth is messing with things. And I do think she could have completely reversed time, and brought Venti in specifically so that we would be able to not reach that ending, and likely gave Venti instructions to not reveal anything. Now, where is this piece of paper? I know it's somewhere around this tower. It's in one of these little alcoves. Well, that's not it, but I will take that. We would be very aimless without that meeting with Venti. We wouldn't really know where to go. And Venti's the one that sent us to Liyue. Aha, here it is. Yes. Yeah. So the Tower of Ipsissimus comes from an old concept from the ancient Fontanian kingdom of Rumeria and was used to describe a powerful will that could rule, sustain, and destroy the world, aka a descender. I don't think we would have lived a normal life in Mondstadt because we were looking for our sibling. We were intent on finding our sibling, so we would have probably... It's entirely possible that without Venti's intervention, we would have ended up in Snezhnaya before we should have been in Snezhnaya, and that's the bad ending. Possible. Maybe. I don't actually know. This tower was designed by the Narcissan-Kreutz Ordo, and it represents the evolution of the human soul and the infinite mysteries of the world. The Narcissan-Kreutz Ordo believes that people continuously refine themselves through samsara cycles. These include Hyperborea, Natlantia, Rumeria, and the first half of the fourth samsara, Kran Arya, which we are presently experiencing. So yeah, it seems like the first half of the samsara we're currently in was the destruction of Khaenri'ah. But with each samsara, a civilization, it seems, was destroyed. Yeah. It's likely we would have ended up going north from Mondstadt instead of south. But yeah, so with Hyperborea, I don't know if we have any lore on which civilization that is. But Natlantia was probably the destruction of, well, the dragons falling. The dragon civilization falling. Maybe? possibly. And Rumeria was obviously Fontaine's ancient civilization. Hyperborea. Could that have been Economy? No, that doesn't make sense. Trying to think. Or Natlanti could also be something to do. No, that was with it. That as far maybe no. I keep thinking about Marriage of Ari, trying to like figure out Marriage of Ari lore before it's actually out. But Rumeria was the previous Samsara. Rumeria's fall was the previous Samsara. And then Natlantia. There's definitely something that happened in Natlan. It could have been the destruction, like the destruction of the dragon civilizations. I actually I do think that that is possible as to what's happened with everything. I do, with everything that we know currently, I do think Istaroth is messing with the timeline and likely had Venti lead us away from Snezhnaya with the mindset we were currently in, that that the Tsaritsa is bad, is evil, is just not in the right mind or whatever, and it does end up resulting in a bad ending for all of Tevat and us. So Istaroth likely went back, had Venti lead us to where we should go. Yeah, Fontaine and Ellen has softened up with the Fatui for us. Because we, in Fontaine, we called Child a friend. We have a tentative allyship with Arlecchino, and we're basically friends with Linny, Lynette, and Fremine. And in Natlan, we had a pretty cordial relationship with the captain. So it's definitely letting us experience more than just the bad side of the Fatui, because obviously there's the Fatui is not as black and white as we started the game off with. It's a lot of grays, and that can also be said with how they treated Skara's arc and how he's developed. Though with the whole Welcome Moon trailer, yeah, it does get better. And with the Welcome Moon trailer that we just had, with Skara being in Nod Cry, it is highly likely, because it's kind of hard to see, but I'm gonna pull up that trailer. Hang on. I was a little bit overanalyzing and nerding things out. Specifically, it is a little hard to make out. I'm not gonna lie on that. But, however, if you look at Skara's reflection here, the colors don't really match his current design, but it matches a little more to what he looked like as the Balladeer. It's rough. It's hard to make out. There is some red in here, which, and it's also like very, unlike Alice and Albedo's reflection, which is a little more clear, his is very more blurred. Yeah, we don't see, I thought I saw Albedo in there, but yeah, no, we don't really see Albedo's reflection. I don't think. It's really hard to make out. Like, it's really blurred. But yeah, like, Alice's is more, like, clearly defined, and Scar's is very blurred. And, like, there's some red in here, like, all around here. So it's highly likely that we're going to see a conflict between Skara and Dottore. Yeah, that is his quote. That's his line. I have an old score of my own to settle. Which also leads into the fact that there's gonna be a conflict between him and Dottore. Because of the things that Dottore did to him. And told him and made him believe. Because if we remember, which quest was it? Was it the interlude quest of Sumeru? It could be. Hang on. We go into the archive. Started this out being like, we're gonna overanalyze Natlan's Act 4. Nope. Yeah, I think it was the interlude. Dance of Destruction, maybe? No, it would have been, like, early on. Where is it? Yeah, that is definitely something he wants. Revenge. Follow the Balladeer. Where is it? It's in this. You discover the nameless branch in the Armored Soul. Anonymous data. The anonymous data of which was everything going on. And like...
Mr. Niwa, are you...
Yeah, so here... This is technically Dottore in disguise.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since you insist.
It's...
Yeah, he recognizes it.
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed, everyone else. Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place, like a giant village. People are gainfully employed, their lives have purpose, they are motivated. As I understand,
It's Dottore in
the Raiden
disguise
Shogun
because...
has, in recent...
Hang on, I'm gonna find the actual cutscene. Because the cutscene will give us better... Niwa... Scene... Tatara Suna, maybe. Haha, here it is.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
Essentially,
it has to be me.
Is that so?
What I want to...
Well, since you insist.
It's...
Yeah, and Scar recognizes him. Because Niwa is who Skara was staying with. And remember, Skara thinks he was betrayed.
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa, and indeed,
No, Mikoshi
everyone
Nagamasa
else.
was the one that...
Under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant
Scar spent
village.
time in
People are
the
gainfully
Tatara Suna,
employed.
anyways.
Their lives have purpose.
I'll wait till the ad's over. Alright. Okay, so yeah, Skara spent time at the Tatara Suna, so
They are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned,
Skara wasn't
unknown,
tortured here. I'm just trying to
all
find
passing
the
on their
spot that I want to skip to.
and it has been my great honor to befriend you all.
So you say, Escher. But is this really the truth?
My good sir, what do you mean?
Dottore is also behind, I think Dottore is behind the machine that's in Tatara Suna. A little bit.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected.
There's a reason he's disguised as a
I didn't want to
Fontanian.
believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange
Also,
filth
this is
inside the furnace.
Kazu's ancestor.
We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with the Shogun. This is our last hope, but that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher? Nothing does. Otherwise, why would you still be standing there with that smile on your face?
I think the thing is, because of all the segments he's created over the years, I think he ends up creating segments. I think he's messed with himself, actually, so that he's no longer a human. He was a human at one point, I think, but he's done so many experiments on himself that he can no longer really be classified as a human. And because of that, it seems like he's ancient. We can look up more tutorial lore in a moment. But
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the Shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well
I
informed
know
on the
the voice
subtleties of a
changes into
situation for a
tutorials at
mechanic
some
all the way
point.
from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the high-risk zone so we can absorb it and put an end to the problem. I'm in charge here. And I'm about to take some responsibility and head inside. Probably to my death. But what about you? What are you still doing here?
Judging from the look in your eyes, you don't seem to trust me.
Drop the act! We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy
Niwa
Tatara
turned his
Suna
back.
has worked.
Not a
I just
good
want to
thing.
know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You...
This should be where Dottore.
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguised myself exceptionally well, at least for the first few days. But to my surprise, you had your people look into my background right from the start. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Fontaine, but that didn't stop them. Eventually, they managed to confirm that Escher was an alias, and that I was not from Fontaine at all. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity, and what I seek in Tatara Suna.
Did you really think you would be able to see through
Yeah,
my
there's the
plan?
switch.
If you kill me, there's no one who can get inside the furnace. So you're really going to destroy this place? Is that it?
Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is one other person. Some may not see him as a person, but you told him yourself. You're not a puppet. You're a human. You're just missing a heart.
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But this makes no sense. What are you really trying to accomplish by all this? Why go to all this trouble?
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled experiment. If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui?
I don't know. I don't think he does.
Just to create a minor inconvenience for your nation.
That's it? That's why you gave us your cursed technology? Just to let loose the evil energy from the crystal marrow?
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is the only chance you have of preventing a catastrophe and keeping the truth from the outside world. However, I did not make it with you in mind. It is easier for a person to be possessed by evil spirits when they are filled with hate. So give in to your fury. I want to see what happens when a malevolent heart is placed into an unsuspecting puppet. Make no mistake, even without you, that pure, innocent puppet would only end up being used by someone else instead. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind?
That's
The human have for befriending one who is not of our kind.
That's an interesting line right there. What other reason would a human have for befriending one who is not of our kind? It's entirely possible Dottore, the reason he's been able to live for so long is because his segments are essentially puppets.
If you give him my heart, tell him that both Nagamasa and I see him as one of us. He has nothing to prove to anyone. Because not everyone just wants to use other people. The only ones who think like that are people like you.
Yeah, he uses his heart for Skara because Skara is gonna enter the furnace.
Makes me feel a little guilty.
And
then, out of respect for you, I shall redefine myself.
Hang on, it's said
Think
in
of
this.
me as a monster or a demon, if you wish. At least this way, your death is not a consequence of your own folly turning you into an easy target. You simply lost to something more powerful than you could ever hope to defeat. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will your puppet friend become a human? No, that will prove quite impossible. Mr. Niwa, already dead. What a pity. Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. Creating a gap and infiltrating Inazuma's inner workings. What fun it was. I'd like to introduce a puppet to you. If he proves useful, let's make him our newest comrade. And if not, let's turn him to dust.
Yeah. Skara.
Hey, are you alright?
Dottore. Dottore!
God, I love Patrick's voice acting. He does that laugh so good.
Good.
Was that the doctor? Did he
Yeah.
turn into a mechanic from Fontaine?
Yeah, he was the one behind the Tatara Suna incident. Yeah, essentially Skara was a shell. I think A had erased any memory he might have of what he was and why he was created and so on and so forth. Eventually, probably Dotori's experiments gave him clarity on any of that, on all of that, but Dotori essentially did a lot of his experiments on Skara, and the only reason he ended up in the Fatui was because of this incident. But if we go and look up why, how old is Dotori? Hildore. It's likely coming from Niwa. If Niwa's heart is still in him. But yeah, so he first appears in manga set sometime before the game's story as a diplomat to Monza. Yeah, because he did a bunch of experiments on Kale. Yeah, this is always an interesting thing. Like, the top 3 of the Harbingers are supposed to have strength comparable to the gods. But, like, what does Dottore have other than experiments? Science. A brain. Pantalon seeks to overthrow the natural imbalance between gods and humans. Works closely with Dottore. Okay, yeah, he was expelled from the academia for murdering someone. Orchestrated a cruel experiment involving murder and perceived betrayal, all for the sake of seeing how the Kabuki Mono would respond. The result of his experiment indirectly led to the Kabuki Mono to later become the Harbinger Scaramouche, but once Dotori's involvement in his past is revealed, Scaramouche cuts ties with the Fatui and inspires his personal vengeance on Dottore. Which is likely what's gonna happen in Nod Cry. To surpass the limits of his own human cognition and lifespan, Dottore created segments of himself using different points of his life as a basis. He views this as his crowning achievement as a researcher and takes great delight in Lesser Lord Cusinelli's disapproval of them. However, each segment has its own personality and the segments often squabble with each other, which Lesser Lord Cusinelli successfully takes advantage of to coerce the segment confronting her into erasing the others in exchange for the electronosis. Who knows? Maybe he will. But yeah, this is how Dottore is able to live on. All of his segments, and I'm assuming as time goes on, he just creates another segment. if they age. We don't really know if the segments age. I don't really know a lot of that. I mean, Nahida had him destroy all of his segments, and it does take a lot to create a segment. He did say that when she had him destroy them all. So it might take him time to get more segments out there. So right now, it is believed that there is only one. So like it is an issue, but there's a possibility that Scar is trying to act on that before he can create another segment. Editors. So, yeah. It is entirely possible that Scar maybe it's hard to say because he was rank 6 without a vision. Now he has a vision. But yeah, I feel like the ranking of the Harbingers is very much convoluted and not fully accurate. But we'll have to see what comes up from it.
Rise like smoke.
It's I do think we might have a Dottore weekly boss battle. Probably. I know some people think Dottore might be playable, but I don't think he's going to be playable. I think he's going to end up as a boss battle. Sure, Arlecchino's both a weekly boss battle and a playable character, but they gave her a few redeeming qualities. Where Dottore has none. Essentially the Harbingers that have redeeming qualities. That I feel like they would be playable. Kind of hard to sell someone who has no moral compass. Yeah. Signora wasn't playable either, and like what redeeming quality did she have? People wanted her specifically because of the fan service. That was her entire design.
The Fatui wouldn't concentrate all their forces in one place. There's sure to be guards on the inside, so stay sharp.
Oh, nice job smashing those rocks, Moika. Looks super cool.
Ah, that was some expert level rock clearing, even by my tribe standards.
That must be the Fatui tunnel over there. We should steer clear and approach from the side.
Yeah, that is true. That is quite true. Signora did have a lot of complex stuff with her design. It was also very heavy in this fan service. But you know what? What character isn't heavy with fan service? Even Skirk is... See, I much prefer this design for her like darker design for Skirk. So I feel like there's actual chest coverage. But I like her as a character. Yeah. They took away...
Final warning. Busted. Show no mercy. Suffer the wrath of Easley. Things are about to get dicey. Search.
Yeah, one misstep and her top would fall off.
Precision strike. Fulfill our pact. Laline, East Papa. Merciless. Into the void.
Well, you just dodged that. I hate you.
Gotcha. Leave the wounded to me. Extinguished.
Fighting cryo with Fry. Yeah, which is why I like the darker outfit more. Because, like, if we just analyze this for a quick sec, like, it doesn't look like it's gonna fall off. Like, what is holding this up? Is my question.
This spell is from the Masters of the Nightwind. It's Auroron's doing. They're probably trying to buy time. These wheels are relics from ancient times. We should try to restore them.
These mechanisms probably control that wheel, right? Let's give them a try.
Do I remember how this is supposed to go? Nope. We're gonna start off with doing this.
Quietly now. You had your chance. Here comes the catch. Power.
This is the outer one. Okay. I need the other one.
Coming.
And I'll use the Saurian. Just the fucking... Alright, it's fine. There we go. Oh my god, why?
Watch out!
Why? No. Also, love how this hint is literally so tiny. Where does it match up?
This must be it.
There they are!
Oh, the captain's here too. Perfect. Looks like they focused their defenses over there.
Oh, they're here.
Huh. I thought the Pyro Archon would choose a frontal assault.
It doesn't matter. They're too late anyway.
Stop!
It's too late.
We need to turn it off!
They're still dying.
I won't let you do this!
The sound of... lament?
What was that sound? It was like a piercing cry!
Now's our chance to turn off the device.
So close, we need to approach from the side and lure the captain away.
Oh, Auroran? How did he just... His movements have gotten a lot faster. Was Auroran always this good in battle?
This ends now!
Huh?
Something's wrong.
What? Hey! Oh my god. Lift up from this position.
You are not Auroran. Who are you?
What?
Commander.
You. So, you still recognize me, Commander? I'm glad. Although, I believe you have some more pressing concerns at the moment.
I feel like this may have needing to be voiced by Traveler. We'll have to wait and see when I did set the third account.
We did it!
You see?
Much later.
You indulge your sense of honor for just a moment, and now you've lost your chance. Even now, you're still the same as ever.
His voice is completely different. Is someone inhabiting Auroran's body?
Stop worrying about other people's survival, about their losses and sacrifices. You just need to win. That must be why I've returned. For this moment. Please finish what you set out to do, Commander.
I didn't expect to see you here, but I have to disagree. Abandoning one's comrades is not the way of a warrior.
Why do you care about a doomed man? I know you can see it. He's already close to death. After all, his soul has been incomplete from the start.
Oh, someone said I'm close to death. Is it because of that noise just now? The piercing cry came from underground when I activated the device. What's down there? Natlan's ley lines must be hiding some kind of secret. Am I dying? Oh, no. It's too soon.
Ah, Auroron, it's you. What'll it be today? Oh, why the long face? Don't tell me you still haven't let that go. I knew it was a bad idea to tell you.
I heard everyone wanted me to be the savior.
Hi.
Savior? Ha! Sounds nice, doesn't it? But, does such a person truly exist? Even if they do, why would you have to become that person?
Auroron, is that you? Oh, here, have a seat. Let Granny cut you some fruit. We just got a fresh batch. Can I get you anything else? Some grilled meatloaf, maybe? Ask for anything you want. We've got plenty of ingredients.
What about those spiced rub mushrooms you made me last time, Granny Kuimi?
Ah, you liked those, did you? An outlander taught me that recipe, actually. A merchant, to be exact. Never thought about going into business yourself, my boy. You could travel all over.
Our Auroron? A merchant? He's far too honest for that line of work.
Well, at least an honest merchant like him wouldn't prey on old-timers like us.
Everyone said a true savior does not really exist, but then why did my birth open the door to the possibility? Why give people false hope? Maybe I don't need to sacrifice myself, but surely everyone is born for a purpose. So, what's mine? If I had succeeded back then, would the world have become a better place? What's the meaning of my existence?
It doesn't mean he doesn't have good lore. It's he just looks like a 4-star. I don't know. It's Look, there's a lot of 4-stars with really good lore. It's just his design spoke 4-star.
Done spacing out, Auroron? Did you finish your homework?
Yes, Granny, it's just... Will learning all this really make me as strong as you?
Of course not. I'm a special case. Other shamans study their whole lives without reaching a fraction of my abilities.
Because you're a genius, right?
You could say that. Or maybe I've just been alive longer than the rest of them, and picked up a few tricks that they didn't want to touch.
Yeah, Cassette Lolly. It's very long-lived. Don't even know why.
It's rude to bring up a woman's age. Never do that again, no matter the circumstances.
She fucking brought it up.
I wasn't the one who brought it up.
Anyway, class is canceled tomorrow. Go have fun.
What about my homework then?
Do what you want. What use is it being as strong as me anyway? You've seen how the tribe treats me. They're all afraid. I try to go about my business, and they practically tremble in fear. Not the most fun way to go about living one's life, I'd say.
I don't know. We can read her character story and see if there's anything. Hi. Is my face in your way?
Take it from me. The happiest people are the ones who do their own thing. So do what you want, Auroron. No matter what anyone else has to say.
Granny didn't say it outright, but I think she was trying to comfort me. Don't force yourself. Don't beat yourself up over the past. That's what she always says. But I never forced myself. I never even got the chance to try before it was all over.
Hey, you zoning out over here again? There's such a thing as over...
I was just looking at the aphids.
Oh my god. Let go.
Something interesting about them today?
There we go.
I noticed
Now
some
she's
on
tired
the
of
ground.
me.
Maybe it got
At
too
least for
cold
the next
yesterday
hour
and they
or
couldn't
so.
handle it.
Bummer. Guess that means less honey this year.
Aoife, do you think being a vet is fun?
Fun? I'm not sure about that. Do you think planting vegetables is fun?
Fun enough, I guess. I don't have anything else to do.
I feel like the Aoife here is not the Aoife we currently see. Like, the way he talks is less goofy, less degenerative. I don't think there's a way to, like, check credits. All you can do is look at this, but, like...
Bummer. Guess that means less honey this year.
Like, this sounds like someone who's born with...
Fun? I'm not sure about that. Do you think planting vegetables is fun?
Like, this sounds less like the very bro-coded talk that he usually has. Well, that he has now. The VA sounds the same. It's just the dialogue is different than what we get now.
Exactly. Most people live like that. No special purpose or calling. That's just how the world works. Oh, jeez. That troublemaker's at it again. Auroron, my man, come inside and give me a hand, would you?
Yeah, like, with the current Aoife that we have, I feel like that line would have been Auroron bro. Not my man.
Why should I? I thought being a vet was no fun.
Well, I guess there is a fun part. Trying to outsmart these rascals. Come on, give me a hand.
Maybe Aoife was just too nice to tell me the truth. That attempting something above your capabilities will kill you. My soul is unstable. I only survived because I had people to help keep me in one piece. A part of me has always been missing. That's why the other spirits said I was close to death, but...
Why struggle? It's a miracle you were even born. Just close your eyes and wait for death.
It was you, the thing that came out of nowhere.
Thing? I'm a warrior, far stronger than a weakling like you.
I'm not weak. There's just a limit to what I can do.
And that's exactly why your fantasy is so ridiculous. You really think a useless thing like you can save the world?
Useless?
Poor Auroron.
Savior? Ha! Sounds nice, doesn't it? But, does such a person truly exist?
Guthrid is from Conria.
Why would you have to become that person?
He's one of the many people that made it to Natlan during the cataclysm with Capitano. That's why Capitano recognizes him.
Exactly. Most people live like that. No special purpose or calling. That's just how the world works.
Take it from me. The happiest people are the ones who do their own thing. So do what you want, Auroron. No matter what anyone else has to say.
But I don't want things to end here.
Auroron? It's all right. We'll take things from here.
Every time they marched into battle, I had to stay behind.
Don't worry. With the Archon on our side, the Abyss doesn't stand a chance.
All the best warriors are fighting on the front lines. I want to do my part too.
Both of us are bound to disappear. But your end will come sooner than mine, because you've been broken from the start. Once your soul shatters into pieces and dissipates into the wind, I will take temporary control over this body. I will serve my commander until the end.
No. No, this isn't right. My life can't end like this. I still haven't done anything important with my life. My end will not come first, and I'm not giving up. I can't die here. No! I won't die here!
Auroron!
That voice.
Control your mind. Feel the ground beneath your feet. This is not your end.
I feel like this should have been properly animated and rendered, not what that was. But what do I know?
His eyes are open! He's alive!
Well done. You managed to do the impossible.
Uh-huh. What do you mean?
Don't try to talk. Focus on holding yourself together.
I can't believe the captain did that.
Maybe he thinks of Auroron as a comrade. He was helping to rein him in all this time.
It's the only reason I had the chance to turn off the device.
I'm fine now.
Damage to the soul is a tricky thing. The pain almost consumed you for a moment, but you managed to hold on to yourself. That's no easy feat.
The worst appears to be over.
I'm sorry for causing so much trouble.
We can talk about that later.
Our plan. It failed, didn't it? I'm sorry. We were so close.
You saved my life, and now the debt is repaid.
Auroron, I never thought you actually wanted to sacrifice yourself in that ceremony. But you never gave up. Have you come to a conclusion on what it is that you truly want?
I just want an answer. A reason why I exist and why everyone always did so much for me. No one is born a hero. And no one should be treated like one from birth. I had a chance to do something important back then, but I failed. All I want is to find some more ways to make up for that.
The answer you seek now lies before you.
There's his hero moment.
You are the inheritor of my name. The hero from the masters of the Nightwind, who shall fight for this generation. Fascinating. You're not the person that the others thought you were. And yet, you're also not the kind of person that you thought you were. It can take a lifetime to truly discover who we really are, like you. I never thought I had what it took to be a hero. I was too cunning, too self-absorbed. But in the end, I sacrificed my life for this nation. Now, remember your name. Even if others will see a different meaning, it still symbolizes your nobility and yearning.
My ancient name. BD.
It means devotion. You will give your all, not for the sake of a heroic death, but to do justice by the answer you found for your life. For that answer, you will offer all of your strength and be born anew. Through your devotion, you will prove your worth, having foretold his own death. The omniscient man holds a feast in celebration. Let us raise our cups in honor of his heroism and send him off with this final tribute. For at last, his wish is now fulfilled.
It's nice to see you again, Sunhudge. With your recognition, we now have the 5th hero of this era.
I am happy to see your plan advance one step further. It seems that my cry did not cause irreversible damage.
What is that voice?
Just as I thought. The Lord of the Night has awakened.
Lord of the Night? As in the one who rules over the Night Kingdom?
I preside over a realm of souls. Due to my limited power, sleep is the only way I can extend my existence. When you activated the device, I awoke and could not hold back my cry. It is a sound that agitates souls. Most of you are unaffected because your souls are intact. But with a damaged soul, the effect on your friend was heightened, and his soul almost shattered as a result. And yet, his soul remains in one piece. He managed to overcome this obstacle through sheer strength of will. A truly impressive feat for a human.
So, was that what caused all his strange behavior earlier?
No. An additional soul was affected. It tried to take refuge in the missing part of your friend's soul, but was ultimately expelled. However, this soul does not hail from Natlan or the Night Kingdom. Its origins remain a mystery to me.
Activating the source mechanism was supposed to reconstruct the ley lines. Why did it awaken you instead?
Because I was the one who originally constructed Natlan's ley lines, otherwise known as the Night Kingdom.
The ancient battle between the Descender and the dragons destroyed the corner of the world, allowing the Abyss to invade. Natlan's ley lines took the worst of the damage. To aid the people of Natlan, the Lord of the Night used the fragments of the old ley lines to reconstruct a similar network. That's how the Night Kingdom was born. The first Pyro Archon, Xbalanque, strengthened that realm and established the rules that aid our fight against the Abyss. The Ode of Resurrection and the Pilgrimage, both of which are practices that survive to this day.
Yeah, I mean, we could just refer to the Heavenly Principles as the Descender, meaning he's the first.
Oh, right! You said before it all came from the power of the heavens.
The ancient dragons tried to use this device to strengthen the ley lines by imbuing them with power. Back then, this method was rather ineffective. They lacked the skills to navigate the intricate structure of the ley lines. And now, the structure of the ley lines has also completely changed. I am the only possible vehicle for the power generated by the device. It was an incredibly crude and painful method, but I managed to absorb some of that power. Now, I can speak to you like this and provide you with aid, such as rebuilding the ley lines once more. husk of my own existence.
But why would you make that kind of sacrifice?
The people of Natlan worship me and call me their lord. In the ancient past, before we died out, we were also known by a different name. Angels. But adventurers like you are probably more familiar with our devolved form. Seelies.
So Seelies are angels?
No wonder there are Seelies around here. A Seelie also helped us in the Night Kingdom.
Few angels remain in Natlan, so the same is true of Seelies. Everyone rallied around me and offered their power to humanity to reconstruct the ley lines. Now, I have witnessed your determined pursuit for survival, and I have become your faith. I am very pleased. Moika, inheritor of Shibalonke's will, and leader of Natlan. Despite all the obstacles and misunderstandings, I have awoken, and the efforts of this harbinger and the young hero have imbued me with power. Say the word, and I will once again work to fulfill my mandate, just as I did thousands of years ago. You need only nod your head. For the sake of your people and your nation, for the sake of overcoming the invasion from the Abyss, give me your orders.
I will not. After reconstructing new ley lines, you will cease to exist. The rules of Natlan are founded in the Night Kingdom. If you disappear, so do they. Not to mention, all the memories and legends recorded within the old ley lines will disappear along with you. The people of Natlan will face memory loss, mental disorders, and cognitive issues. Just like the consequences of using the Gnosis, that is a price I refuse to accept.
Know about the consequences of using the Gnosis, but what are the consequences?
Humanity's survival is worth any price. Once the Abyss runs rampant, all that remains will be a land of corpses and ruin.
Well, no, well, we do know a little bit about the consequences, but like the consequences meant nothing in the end.
And when the new ley lines are invaded again by the Abyss? What then? How are future generations supposed to survive? A land without the Lord of the Night, without the protection of the rules, is doomed from the start.
You presume too much. If you cannot ensure survival in the present, you have no right to think about the future. What will it take for you to realize that? How many hundreds or thousands will have to die?
The situation hasn't gotten that dire yet, has it?
Why are you so pessimistic about the situation?
Why? Because I am a survivor of Conria. I've witnessed the devastation and terror of the Abyss with my own eyes.
Yeah.
Conria?
That's right. My family, my comrades, my homeland, were all lost to the Abyss. It is an unforgettable pain. One that no amount of time could ever dull. Not even 500 years. You've experienced something similar, Mawika. You should know exactly what I mean.
You're right. The pain, the regret, the catastrophe. They all haunt my dreams to this day.
If I could go back, I would reject all false hope. I would do whatever it took to ensure their survival. You have that chance before you now. Why do you refuse to take it?
Because we don't have the right to make that decision. We love this world because it contains everything we hold dear. Everything that has happened here has moved us, shaped us, and turned us into who we are today. Giving up our memories and history would mean rewriting everything. The people of this world would then become fundamentally different beings, their physical bodies the only connection to their former selves.
Even so, given enough time, a new civilization would inevitably flourish. If you believe in humanity, you should trust in their ability to create a new future.
Or, history could repeat itself. The Abyss could invade once more, and it would all be for nothing.
Can I
Ron.
say something?
He's like
I
a
once carried the
child
hopes
with
of many people,
divorce parents.
and I was also desperate to save our nation. In the captain's plan, I saw a chance to ensure our survival. But as I was on the brink of death, my wish for life and purpose was rekindled. I've been very fortunate to be well cared for by all the people in my life. I refuse to forget that. My feelings were so strong, they overrode my compulsion to sacrifice myself for their safety. No matter what path lies before us, we still have a destination. If we lose our way now, we will lose the meaning of our existence.
That's right. Natlan's heroes gave their lives so we could have this chance against the Abyss. Their sacrifices are our blessings. Not only are their deeds and spirits exceptionally meaningful, they may also well be our path to victory.
Yeah, we're just one hero short.
The power from the device will allow me to remain awake for some time. I stand at the ready should you change your mind. Even if you fail, you need only send someone my way. My offer still stands. Humanity is truly remarkable. Even the gods in the heavens hold you to be special. Even now, you stand before me, dazzling, like the sun.
You must have a profound connection to this land since you're so determined to save it. But what are you really trying to protect? The land or its people?
Pretty sure he wants to hear what you have to say, Traveler.
What about you?
Fine. I suppose we can wait. Now that Auroron has inherited the memories of his forebearer, there's only one hero left. Your plan does have the potential to generate the best outcome. In the meantime, you shall have the aid of all the Fatui under my command.
Thank you. Having such a powerful harbinger on my side is a big advantage. I know we may never completely see eye to eye on what it means to protect life, but for now, I'm willing to fight by your side.
All right, we should let everyone else know about the plan. They're probably still at each other's throats outside.
Good idea. We need to explain the situation.
I have a few more questions for the Lord of the Night.
Oh, guess we'll stick around then.
I'll update everyone outside.
Alright.
You come to me with many questions, and you should be rewarded for your bravery. Ask, and you shall have the knowledge you seek.
About the power of
They
the heavens.
do not like being mentioned by name by any living being, be it an ordinary human or one of the seven. They prefer to remain in the shadows as shades. The one you wish to know about? I call her the Ruler of Death. She helped Natlan establish the rules. It was also under her guidance that I created the Night Kingdom. It was an expression of love, as well as an act of reparation. She was seen as having significantly overstepped her authorities as a shade, which quite displeased the almighty heavenly principles.
That's it. That's it. Oh my god. Yes, here it is. So this proves that Renova did her own form of rebellion, which is why she thinks it's not so easy to just switch sides. Because her form of rebellion was creating the rules for Natlan.
She succumbed to self-pity as a result, and no longer cared if others discussed her identity. Even so, her existence remains unknown to all but a select few.
Self-pity?
Please don't tell anyone I use that word. I'm just trying to speak plainly to conserve energy. You come to me with many questions, and you should be rewarded for your bravery. I'm not familiar with that concept. The device is capable of weaving and creating ley lines, you say? Even I cannot create something from nothing. I can only reconstruct the ley lines by reassembling the yet intact components into a new structure. If that power were available to the people of Natlan, they might have a new option against the Abyss. You come to me with many... They do look like the one you wish to know about. It was an expression of love, as well as an act of reparation. She was seen as having significantly overstepped her authorities as a shade, which quite displeased the almighty... heavenly principles.
I'm going to do something real quick with this one. Go. That is a very important piece of lore.
She succumbed to self-pity as a result, and no longer cared if others discussed her identity. Even so, her existence remains unknown to all but a select few.
Self-pity?
Please don't tell anyone I use that. You come to me with many questions. Phlogiston is Tevat's primordial form of energy. The heavenly principles used phlogiston as a basis for the creation of elemental energy, to develop a power to better counter the Abyss. Have you heard of the concepts of the light realm and the human realm? That explanation might take too long. Light refracts into 7 different colors, which we collectively refer to as a rainbow. Elemental energy is a similar concept. It's essentially the modern counterpart of phlogiston.
And this right here is why the Traveler has a light element when other elements are around. Because the light element is all of the other elements together.
You come to me with many questions, and you should be rewarded for... Ah, yes, yes. The artisan from the Children of Echoes has yet to mention the matter to me. Probably because the young girl from the Masters of the Nightwind is absent. No matter. I'll reach out in a dream and tell them what needs to be done.
Young girl?
What? Did I say something wrong? You come to me with many questions.
I have no more questions. So that's a lot of information.